Good morning, everyone. I'm Jannie Bernas, and I am an Administrative Officer 4 from the Games and Amusements Board. And I am joined today by Ms. Louise Sevilla, a Digital Marketing and Design Executive who brings a wealth of experience from the private sector. Magkaiba man ang aming industriya, public service and digital marketing in private sector, pareho naming nakita kung gaano kahalaga ang quality management, lalo na ngayong global at fast-paced ang business landscape. In government, especially now that our agency is actively working toward ISO certification, I've realized how important it is to establish clear systems, efficient processes, and a culture of continuous improvement, not just for compliance, but for better public service. Today, pag-uusapan natin kung paano na-apply ang strategic quality management. Hindi lang sa theory, kundi sa actual operations. Paano ito tumutulong sa organizations to grow, adapt, and stay relevant. But before we dive in, let me take a moment to properly introduce my partner in this presentation. Let's all welcome my teammate and today's co-presenter, Ms. Olive Louise Sevilla.
Hi, I'm Olive Louise Sevilla, a digital marketing and design executive in the private sector. Coming from the marketing and creative industry, I've learned that quality isn't just about making things look good. It's about making things that work well, deliver value, and build trust over time. Whether it's a brand campaign, website, or social media strategy, everything should be intentional, strategic, and rooted in real data. In this presentation, Jannie and I will share with you how strategic quality management applies not just in big companies, but also in government, marketing, and creative work. We'll walk you through the tools, challenges, and insights from our own experiences and hopefully inspire you to look at quality not just as a process but as a mindset. So whether you're in business, public service, or any other field, quality is something we all need to care about.
Whether you're in government, private business, or the creative industry, strategic quality management plays a vital role in achieving sustainable success. It helps organizations improve systems, align with global standards, deliver better outcomes, and build long-term trust. Kaya ngayong araw, samahan niyo kami sa isang makabuluhan at praktikal na paglalakbay kung saan tatalakayin natin ang kahalagahan ng quality, hindi lang bilang requirement, kundi bilang strategic tool for growth, innovation, and impact. Strategic quality management is more than just systems and standards. It's about embedding quality into the strategic direction of an organization. In today's interconnected global market, quality becomes a source of competitive advantage. Sa global market ngayon na sobrang competitive, hindi sapat na pwede na. SQM helps organizations stand out, retain customers, and adapt to market changes habang consistent ang quality.
At the end of this presentation, you should be able to first understand how TQM principles support long-term strategic goals. Second, analyze the impact of SQM in gaining competitive advantage in global markets. And lastly, learn from real-life applications in both public and private sectors.
In our agency at GAB, we realized the value of Deming's 14 points when we began our ISO journey. We used Deming's Drive Out Fear principle when we revised our internal feedback system. Dati, ayaw ng staff mag-report ng error sa licensing kasi baka masisi. Ngayon, feedback is encouraged, leading to faster error resolution and more efficient workflows. In fact, our service matrix improved by 15% in 1 quarter.
In my case, the Duran trilogy became useful when I had to plan, control, and improve a luxury brand's inconsistent customer service. These theories weren't just abstract. They gave us the language and system to fix real workplace issues. I remember discussing with one of my friend. Sabi niya, "So, saan ba nagsimula ang quality management theories?" Honestly, ang dami nila. Pero may mga standout talaga. Like who? She asked. Well, si Deming for starters, he's the guy behind the 14 points for management. Parang guide siya for companies to build a culture of continuous improvement. Yeah, narinig ko na yan. Someone said. Yung focus niya is more on systems, diba? Exactly. Tapos si Duran naman, he introduced the Duran trilogy. Planning, control, and improvement. It sounds basic, pero when you're actually fixing a process, you realize how critical those 3 steps are. Wait, so applicable to kahit sa marketing? I responded, oo naman, I'll explain it in a bit. Pero bago yan, may balance scorecard din. It helps organizations align performance indicators with their big picture goals. Ano siya, dashboard goals? Sort of. Sa balance scorecard, may 4 na perspectives. Pero sa marketing, we zero in on the customer perspective. Diyan namin tinitingnan yung engagement, brand perception, loyalty, at mga bagay na dati akala naming pang creative lang, pero may quality angle pala. Gets. So hindi lang aesthetics, dapat may strategy talaga. Exactly. And there is the DMAIC or Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. Usually ginagamit siya sa Six Sigma, pero surprisingly, gamit na gamit din siya sa campaigns. And my friend asks how so. So, for example, may campaign kami before na sobrang baba na reach. So we started by defining the problem, low engagement. Then we measured out our metrics, our views, clicks, shares, etc. After that, we analyzed the possible causes, like kulang ba sa hook, hindi siya relatable. Then we improved the messaging and visuals. And finally, we controlled future outputs using templates and guidelines. Wow, parang detective work din pala yan, ha? Ganun na nga. Masaya siya once you get the hang of it. And let's not forget ISO standards, I added. Lalo na ang ISO 9001:2015, parang framework siya for building solid quality management systems. Use that before sa agency namin, my friend added. Medyo strict pero grabe yung improvement after. Exactly, I said. It might feel rigid at first, pero once it's part of the system, things run smoother. So totoo pala yung sinasabi nila. Quality isn't just for factories. Yup, marketing, creatives, operations, we're all in it. Same goal, better outcomes, happier customers, and less wasted effort. Yup, marketing, creatives, operations, we're all in it. Same goal, better outcomes, happier customers, and less wasted effort.
Sa government setting, especially sa mga ahensyang nag-a-aspire ng ISO certification tulad ng GAP, napakahalaga ng mga frameworks na ito. May big emphasis sa planning and control, importanteng aspeto sa pagbuo ng programs na may public accountability. At ngayon, na GAP is preparing for ISO certification, sinusunod na namin ang documented procedures, risk-based thinking, and feedback mechanisms. Lahat ito ay bahagi ng ISO 9001:2015 structure. Iba-iba man ang application, ang core message ng lahat ng frameworks na ito ay isa. Quality should not be accidental. It should be planned, measured, and continuously improved. At kahit ano pa ang industry mo, gobyerno, marketing, education, or manufacturing, these tools help us create systems that are more efficient, more consistent, and more aligned with the needs of the people we serve. Let me share a quick case. In one of our initiatives at the Games and Amusements Board, we were evaluating whether to upgrade our athlete licensing system into a fully digital platform. At first, ang tanong lang ay, kaya ba ng budget? But when we applied strategic quality management principles, mas lumalim ang aming evaluation. We used feedback, and data to forecast. Processing time savings, reduction in walk-in crowd volume, and improve in overall stakeholder satisfaction. Then we did a cost-benefit review. Tiningnan kung ilang tao ang makikinabang, gaano kabilis ang return, at paano nito maa-align sa goal naming maging ISO ready. The result? We pushed through with a pilot launch in our central office in Makati. And now, we're seeing faster turnaround, less paperwork, and better tracking of athletes' data. That's how quality planning supports real-world improvement, not just for internal efficiency, but for the people we serve.
As for our company, we faced a problem while operating inside a luxury 5-star hotel in Dubai. SOS received multiple complaints from international guests about inconsistent sizing across the resortwear collections. Some customers returned the items saying, large sa isang brand tapos parang small naman sa isa. This inconsistency risked damaging the brand's image, especially among high-paying repeat tourists. One staff member mentioned on our team breakfast, ang hirap i-explain sa guest kung bakit hindi pare-pareho ang sizing kahit parehong binili sa sauce. The management applied strategic quality management principles. First, they gathered feedback through post-purchase service and trained hotel store staff to log sizing complaints. Then, using the DMAIC framework, they defined the sizing issues, measured which brands had the highest inconsistency rates, and analyzed supplier patterns. They implemented quality control guidelines for all partner brands and enforced a unified sizing chart. The result? Return rates dropped by 40% and customer satisfaction scores improved significantly, proving that quality planning leads to real improvement, not just internally, but also for the luxury experience SOS promises. When we talk about quality, it's not something you check off once and forget. It's something that needs to be measured, monitored, and improved constantly. Almost like tending a garden. You don't just plant the seeds and hope for the best. You water, prune, adjust based on the weather. That's why companies turn to tools like Six Sigma, Kaizen, benchmarking, and statistical process control or SPC. I remember the first time I encountered these. It felt overwhelming at first, but then I saw how they made things clearer. Suddenly, you could trace where waste was happening, spot where errors kept repeating, and figure out how to fix them. One team I worked with cut their rework time in half just by benchmarking against a similar project. Another applied Kaizen, tweaking one small step in their workflow each week, and before they knew it, productivity jumped. These tools aren't just about charts and processes. They help you actually do something about quality. They make strategic goals real. They help you to keep your customers happy, your team efficient, and your edge sharp in a fast-paced market. In the end, they turn quality from vague aspiration into a daily habit, built right into how decisions are made, how teams work, and how businesses grow.
Sa Gab, as we currently undergoing ISO certification process at malaking bahagi ng paghahanda ay ang pagpapatupad ng mga quality tools tulad ng documentation review, internal quality audits, at feedback tracking. Kasama rin dito ang alignment sa aming quality policy na nakatutok sa proteksyon at kapakanan ng ating mga atleta, integridad ng profesional na sports, pag-iwas sa game fixing at illegal gambling, at tuloy-tuloy na improvement ng aming systems at procedures. One of the most effective strategies we've observed in government is the integration of quality objectives with actual service delivery. Hindi lang siya tungkol sa pag-check ng compliance boxes, it's about asking, ano ang epekto nito sa stakeholders? Mas napapadali ba ang buhay ng publiko? Noong sinimulan namin ang digitalization ng services sa GAP, particularly sa athlete licensing and permit processing, bago namin ginawa ang automation, we used the define and measure phase of DMA-IC. We collected feedback wherein 48% of athletes complained about delay. Then we mapped the current process and identified 4 redundant steps. After redesigning, we saw permits go from 3 days to 1 day. Kaya hindi lang siya automation, it was deliberate quality redesign. The result? Bumaba ang average processing time ng permits. Nabawasan ang physical congestion sa office. Tumaas ang client satisfaction based on feedback forms. This proved that when quality efforts are linked to real-world problems, we don't just improve processes, we also build public trust and operational integrity.
On the private side, especially in marketing and design, SQM becomes even more powerful kapag naka-align ito sa customer behavior. Hindi lang siya about producing beautiful campaigns. It's about consistency, responsiveness, and strategic timing. Let's say your brand promises fast delivery or 24/7 customer support. If your operations can't meet that, quality suffers, and so does your brand image. We worked once with a brand that had great visuals pero inconsistent ang delivery times. The result, first we had high bounce rate, second is low repeat customers, and 3 is poor online reviews. After realigning their internal workflows with their brand promise and applying SQM tools like customer journey mapping and performance metrics, we saw improvement in number 1, customer loyalty, number 2, campaign ROI, and most importantly, trust. That's why quality management isn't just a technical tool. It's a strategic driver in building strong, lasting relationships with your market. So whether in public service or private business, the key insight here is this. Quality goals must be relevant, visible, and connected to actual user experience. Because when quality becomes part of your culture, not just your checklist, that's when real transformation begins.
So after applying strategic quality management in our respective fields, what would we recommend next? For us, in the public sector, I recommend that agencies invest in capacity building, especially in process documentation, risk-based thinking, and performance monitoring. These are essential not just for ISO readiness, but also for building a culture of quality that goes beyond personalities or leadership changes. In my own experience as part of administrative team at the Games and Amusements Board, we initiated a monthly internal audit of our frontline services using citizens' feedback forms and performance data. Simple lang siya, pero by regularly tracking common complaints and turnaround times, we were able to revise one of our permit processing workflows. The result, from 3 working days, naging 1 working day na lang ang average processing time. That small improvement created a big impact on client satisfaction and staff morale. We also encourage agencies to embed quality goals into strategic plans so that every program or project is tied to measurable outcomes, not just activity-based reporting.
In the private sector, one big lesson we've learned is this. Quality shouldn't just be the job of the operations or compliance team. If it's not a shared responsibility, it doesn't last. At SOS, we saw this play out clearly. When we first started, quality was seen as something you checked at the end, like, did this order go correctly? Or did the display meet the hotel standards? But over time, we realized we needed to bring quality into everyone's workflow, from design to sales to logistics. We began with small changes. For example, we started using customer feedback loops in the form of quick post-purchase surveys and boutique staff reports. This helped us spot patterns like certain fabrics that kept getting returned or styles that weren't performing in specific hotel locations. Instead of reacting, we could now act early. Then we created a simple internal scorecards, not corporate looking ones, just shared trackers in Google Sheets at first. These helped us monitor things like delivery accuracy, in-store product placement, or even staff response time for client requests. Suddenly, teams weren't just working to get it done. They were working toward the visible goals. We also experimented with improvement sprints. For instance, one month we focused on reducing visual merchandising errors across our 5-star hotel branches. We gave the retail team space to test new signage systems and layout guidelines. It wasn't a massive overhaul, but a result? A 20% drop in display-related complaints from hotel partners within 2 months. So can these initiatives be scaled or sustained? Definitely, but only if they're supported by systems and leadership. In our case, management gave us the freedom to try, track, and tweak. We weren't punished for mistakes, and we were encouraged to learn from them. And that's what kept people invested. When teams saw results, like faster restocking, fewer customer complaints, or even just a better feedback from hotel partners, they didn't see quality as extra work anymore. It became part of how we worked hard every day. That's really the key. To make quality visible, make it shared, and make it part of your system, not just your slogan.
Sa gobyerno, ang susi sa sustainability ay institutionalization. Ibig sabihin, dapat may policies, templates, and tools na naka-built-in sa sistema. Hindi lang umaasa sa tao. In our agency, even as we undergo ISO certification, we're also building internal trackers and feedback systems that can remain in place even beyond this transition.
Lastly, how does all this link to long-term value or competitive advantage? Simple lang. In today's economy, the organization that delivers consistent, high-quality service or product and adapts quickly to change will always be one step ahead. Strategic quality management gives you a solid foundation to innovate, grow, and lead. It helps you gain trust, improve customer loyalty, and reduce costly errors. Lahat yan ay key ingredients for long-term success.
Whether you're in government or in business, quality should never be treated as one-time project. It's a long-term investment, one that pays off in trust, performance, and relevance.
Thank you for being with us as we explore this timely and meaningful topic together. We've explored how strategic quality management goes beyond compliance, checklists, and technical tools. It's a core part of how organizations create value, earn trust, and stay competitive. But before we close, let's briefly revisit the key takeaways from today's discussion. Number 1 is that quality should be aligned with strategic goals, not just operational metrics. Number 2, that tools like Six Sigma, Kaizen, benchmarking, and ISO help drive continuous improvement. Number 3, that quality can be applied in marketing, regulation systems, and customer experience. And most importantly, that quality should lead to a real-world results, not just internal reports.
Nowadays, with everything changing so fast, from technology to customer expectation, strategic quality management becomes even more important. It's not just about compliance, it's about using data, systems, and insight to guide leaders, improve services, and solve problems with purpose. Sa tulong ng real-time analytics, digital dashboards at feedback tools, mas mabilis nating makikita ang trends, issues at opportunities, kaya mas epektibo tayong nakakakilos.
This means we're more equipped to face any challenge, be it market competition, system inefficiencies, policy shifts, or changing customer needs. Because when quality becomes part of your culture and your strategy, you don't just survive, you lead, adapt, and grow.
At sa huli, yun naman talaga ang goal, to build systems that last, services that matter, and organization that never stop improving. As we wrap up our presentation, we want to leave you with a question to reflect on. What does quality really mean in your organization? Is it about speed, accuracy, customer satisfaction, and more importantly, who should be accountable for upholding it? In the end, quality isn't just the responsibility of one department. It's everyone's job. Kaya ngayon, tanungin mo ang sarili mo, kapag may kinakaharap na hamon, kaya pa rin ba ng inyong kumpanya na panindigan ang commitment nito sa kalidad?
Thank you for listening, and we hope you gained valuable insights on strategic quality management and that you can apply some of these practices in your own organizations as well.